How often do you say that to yourselves? My soul is welcome here. I invite you to say that to yourself, for yourself right now. Together, my soul is welcome here. So we are so positive, affirmative. You know, we emphasize the positive here, and we affirm others all the time. But how often do we affirm ourselves and know that we belong here, know that we are welcome here, know that we have purpose and promise here? It feels really good, doesn't it? I love that. Thank you so much for starting with that. So my name is Dana Zahler, and I am going to start us off. We're going to say our foundational statement of unity together. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. And Marilyn is going to read our daily word. Welcome, Marilyn. Your soul is welcome here.
Today's daily word is release. I release and move forward with a grateful heart. Although any experience can be seen as a gift bringing new insight or deeper understanding, it may be hard to appreciate it at first. When I struggle to release a painful memory, I can open my mind and heart to better receive the gift of that experience. For instance, learning why a relationship ended shows me where I can grow in understanding and empathy. Feeling the unconditional love of God, I forgive my past weakness and make amends where I can. When I recognize that holding on to resentment hurts only me, I can move more easily, release it, and forgive. Blessed by the power of release and grateful for the power of God within, I move forward, ready to live and love fully again. Genesis 32:26 says, "Then he said, 'Let me go, for the day is breaking.' But Jacob said, 'I will not let you go unless you bless me.'"
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So we do have some first-time guests today, so I want to just welcome you and invite you to stick around afterwards if you'd like to have some community and some snacks. All right, so I'm going to let us have a few minutes to greet our neighbor here. So this is where we just stand and offer a handshake or a hug or a high five or a fist bump or a thumbs up or whatever you want to do. All right, let's return to our seats, but we can remain standing because we're going to sing.
inside out, renew me till there is no doubt. Change, do you see? Change in the heart of me, renew me from the inside out, renew me till there is no doubt. I don't wanna be the same. I don't wanna play the same old games. I'd rather be transformed totally by you, my God. I don't wanna be the same. I don't wanna play the same old games. I'd rather be transformed by you, my God. Change, do you see? Change in the heart of me, renew me from the inside out, renew me till there is no doubt. Change, do you see? Change in the heart of me, renew me from the inside out, renew me till there is no doubt. I don't wanna be the same. I don't wanna play the same old games. I'd rather be transformed totally by you, my God. I don't wanna be the same. I don't wanna play the same old games. I'd rather be transformed. I'd rather be transformed. I'd rather be transformed by you, my God. Okay, since this is the last day for that song, I'll show you a little bit of the dance.
Yay.
No.
And that's it? Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Well, I have been challenging you guys to be able to willing to move during the service, so thank you for taking the challenge, Nikki. And wait, there's more, right? That we can only build on that. We can only build on that. Maybe we'll have a new zip line move for those of us who went zipping this week. Yeah, that was a whole new experience, wasn't it? All right, so I'm just here to introduce our friend and leader, Jeff, who is going to talk to us about the state of unity today. So welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, I need to settle because I'm a little amped up. Been up since about 4 o'clock, I think. And when Julie got up, she's like, "Wow, you've gotten so much done." And I was like, "Yeah, but anyways, I'm still going." I'm really excited. I'm really excited to share some things with you, and I'm also excited to share things on the horizon. So a lot of exciting things, but I need to take a moment and a pause and take a breath, create margin. That's one of my words, is margin. And so one of the things we learned was taking 5 minutes of silence. So I'm going to set my watch for 5 minutes. And I want us to do, whether you close your eyes, whether you pray, just 5 minutes of silence. And when the 5 minutes is up, whether you pray, just 5 minutes of silence. And when the 5 minutes is up, ding the dong. Our opportunity and so I just would do something a little bit different as far as the meditation. So we'll start in about, let's start 3, 2, 1. Just together, let's all just take, we'll take 3 deep breaths together. Inhale. And exhale. Once again, inhale. And exhale. And one last breath. All right. I realize didn't plan that well because those of you online were probably trying to figure out if your speakers were working. I apologize for that. Next time we do something like that, we'll put a line at the bottom. Don't adjust your, no need to adjust. Well, thank you guys for being here. And I'm really excited. It literally took me, so last week I got back Friday evening. And then most of you know, we brought into our family mix a puppy. And when you think you have everything covered, you don't. And so that was Friday evening, and then Saturday, Sunday we were here, but it's taken about 5 days for us to get everything kind of situated for this new life that we brought in. And she's full of energy, but she's the sweetest little thing. And I swear she's channeling my dog, my old dog, because just some of the things, Sandra and I even actually had an exchange because she just does things I've called her Misha a couple of times already, which has been very endearing to me. But I want to talk about what happened on my trip. And some of you said to me that when you go to Unity Village, it's a life-changing experience. And I will tell you that, yes, it was a life-changing experience. But the experience didn't start off all so well. So my flight was that Sunday was at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so we had to get up early and get me to the airport. Now, leading up to this point of this trip, I was in this weird space between the real ID and the ID and getting my license renewed. And so I got my license renewed in a hurry, thinking I would get the real ID in time to actually make this trip. Well, come to find out, no, I didn't have the real ID done in time. And so I forget who it was. Somebody sent me a link to go to the TSA and be able to do this pre-screening. So I go in to do the pre-screening, and they look at my license, and because I had gone in for the real ID, they punch a hole in your license and they give you a piece of paper. And the lady says, well, we can't help you because you're already in that interim period because a hole's been punched in your driver's license that we don't look at that as being valid. So you're just going to have to go to the airport extra early to make sure that you have all the documentation and they can do everything for you. So, okay, fine. So I plan to go to the airport like 2 hours early for the flight. So Julie drops me off. I'm so focused on the real ID that I go ahead and jump in the line to get checked through security, realizing I don't have my boarding pass. So I get on my phone thinking, oh, okay, I'll log in and get my boarding pass. Long story short, can't get logged in. There's this huge line, and I'm like, do I stay or do I go? I was like, well, I can't get past this without a boarding pass. So I jump out of line, I go back. There's 25 people in line at the Delta check-in, and there's 2 people checking them in. So I call Julie, and I go, okay, I'm going to be stuck. Like, I'm just going to resolve my position in that I'm going to be in the airport all day long because I'm going to miss my flight. I'm not going to get through, and I'm just going to be okay with that. And a part of me was frantic, and part of me was like resolved, but I was very unsettled. And my lovely Julie, I will not read to you what she wrote me because it's personal. But it was exactly what I needed. And it changed the tone of the trip for me. Because to go and get on a trip when you're so far behind and frantic changes the whole dynamics of everything. You're constantly feeling that you're behind and you're trying to catch up. And this settled me. This is one of the things she did that settled me. So my connection flight, I fly from Spokane to Minneapolis, and I get on the plane in Minneapolis, and I sit next to this lady. And I don't know how we got on the topic of Kansas City, like that's where we're going. But I said, are you going to Kansas City for work or pleasure? And she goes, oh, no, I'm going for a conference. And I go, oh, is it for Unity by chance? And she goes, well, yes, it is. And I go, oh, I'm going to Unity too. So we start having this conversation, and her name is Sarah Poole from the Walnut Creek. She's on the board of the Walnut Creek Unity. So we have this great discussion. She asks me about our ministry, and she asked me about things that we're involved in. Of course, I told her of what we're doing here, but also of what we're doing with Dignified Workday. And she was extremely impressed by everything and was wanting to press in and keep asking more and more. Long story short, we shared our Uber ride from the airport, which was like $85, $90 for an Uber one way from the airport out to the hotel, which I just, I thought I was going to have to call Wendy and beg for forgiveness for spending $95 on an Uber. But she split it with me. And then we used that money for the other Uber. So I did get a good value out of that. Sunday was just kind of settling in and that sort of thing. Monday morning was the first day there. And that morning they had the ordination. They had a ordination, graduation, and licensing ceremonies. And I was just still feeling a little off. So I sat out front of the hotel and was just watching people come. And there was a lady sitting there, and her name is Simi. And she's from Africa, and her husband are moving to Kansas City because of a job change. So what just started out as an acquaintance conversation ends up being 2.5 hours of conversation between her and I. And I won't get into it was just a back and forth, but then it became a healing time. And there were some things that she shared with me that I just started asking her questions. And I will tell you that being present in a conversation with a stranger will change things, will change you. And I can still see her face with some of the questions. And the questions I asked her was, well, how is that serving you? How is that helping you get to what you want in life? And she was very curious, and I didn't tell her I was a spiritual leader or minister. And then I learned later that that was a good decision, because her view of Christian church and that would have just created this huge wall. So I just told her that, just in chatting with her, the long story short of that whole thing was it was a sacred encounter. And it was part of an affirmation that would continue through the whole week of what is ours to do. What is ours to do? And it was also part of recognizing, being completely transparent with you. I look at our center and I look at other centers and wondering, okay, what could we be doing? What are we doing? What am I doing wrong? And part of it is trying to make sure that I am who you guys have called me to be. And so in searching through things, and as the week unfolded, and I had these sacred conversations with people, and they just affirmed the path that we're on. And another word that came up for me that past week was the word discernment. Discernment. So anyways, had this beautiful conversation with Simi. Sarah and I and another person take a Uber from the hotel over to Unity Village, $36. It pays to be an Uber driver, I'll tell you what. And we get there, and then Unity is having their Juneteenth celebration. That's part of their ordination. It was beautiful. First of all, I walked the Unity grounds, which was, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. But then they have this beautiful celebration with African dancers and singers, and this whole thing going on. This whole celebration was just amazing to sit and be a part of. And then after that, they had a chapel service at the Fillmore Chapel. And then we walked the labyrinth, and that was a beautiful thing. The labyrinth walk took 45 minutes, in and out. That was amazing. And I didn't even spend more than 7 to 10 minutes in the center, but it was a very amazing thing. And one of the things that happened was a person that I didn't even know, as I was walking, reaches out and gives me a low five each time we pass. I didn't know her or her husband. I didn't even meet him afterwards. But I look at it, it was just somebody that was along the path. And sometimes we need those people that as we're walking a path, that silently are encouraging us that we're on the right path, that we're where we're supposed to be. And I apologize, it's my bad for not having slides. I didn't get them formatted into Byron in time, so you just bear with me on this. Tuesday morning, so that was Monday. Then Tuesday morning starts off the conference, and the theme of the conference is leadership intelligence. And this beautiful lady by the name of Reverend Martha Creek starts off the morning, and instead of saying good morning, she says, God morning. And it just so resonated that this is a God is good, God morning. And she talked about the light of God is expressing itself in society. That, listen to this, in our nothingness is our knowingness. In our nothingness is our knowingness. Does a ministry of you, regardless of who you are or whether you're ordained or not, is the ministry of you a loving moment? And are we creating and are we being loving moments again and again and again? The second session was led by Reverend Jen Hutchins, and it was she has a ministry called the Unity Arts Ministry, and it was all about self-care and creating art. And one of the things that came out of that for me, one of the things she had was talking about forgiveness, and Myrtle's Fillmore's letters, healing letters about forgiveness. And she talked about like when people would write Myrtle to pray for her, pray for my arm, or pray for my leg or my hip. Myrtle's response was, who do you need to forgive? Because pain in the body is represented, or forgiveness is represented by pain in the body. And so Myrtle's letters back to these people would be basically questioning, who is it in your life that you haven't forgiven? And I thought that was so beautiful. And it could be also, what do I need to forgive myself for? I thought that was beautiful too. And if we don't forgive ourselves, we can't hold that space for others. And then she talked about loving deeply and loving ourselves. We went through this exercise of what is your word? And for me, the word that kept coming up initially was separation. And I was like, well, it's not separation. And as I worked through the word, and I can't read all my little notes here, but I work through the word. Well, it's not this, and it's not this, and it's not this. It's margin. And when I wrote the word margin down, I was like, I could put my pen down. It was like there was nothing else to write. And most of you know that I've been going through this process, taking this position of closing out my business and trying to get separation from all of that work to do. And there's been a lot of obstacles that have dragged it on much longer than I anticipated that it would. But one of the things that I've been looking for and trying to gain is margin in my life. And that's because that too many things are crossing over, and it doesn't give me a chance to pause, reset, and understand what really needs to be done or what's going on. In the afternoon, on that Tuesday afternoon, we went through a session called Leading from Your Whole Self, a Ayurvedic journey. And this was a beautiful thing put on by Reverend Pam Gutierrez. Now let me read you a couple things and see if you recognize this person. Vata leadership is creative, energetic, and quick-moving, but prone to anxiety and imbalance. Their powers are imagination, life, release, and power. A Pitta leadership strength is a passionate, driven leader with a fiery edge, but may struggle with stress and control. Their powers are order, wisdom, zeal, and will. So we take, and there's Kapha leadership strengths is a steady, nurturing presence, though sometimes prone to stagnation or resistance to change. Kapha powers are love, strength, understanding, and faith. So we take a assessment, and it's not good enough that I'm 1. I've got to be 2. So I'm actually a dual-dominated of Vata and Pitta. And so I'm bringing this up to you because as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my God, this has got me nailed to a T. Vata types are creative, intuitive, and full of vibrant energy, governed by ether. You bring imagination, spontaneity, and a movement to the world around you. When in balance, you are a visionary and a source of fresh ideas. When out of balance, you may feel anxious, scattered, and fatigued. You may experience dryness in the body with symptoms like constipation and dry eyes. TMI. Then it talks about Pitta, the other part of me. Pitta types are focused, passionate, and naturally driven, ruled by fire and water. You are a leader, a strategist, a powerful force for transformation. When balanced, you exude confidence and clarity. When out of balance, you may experience irritability, inflammation, and burnout. And some other things that will be too much information that I won't share with you. But know this, that when I read that, I was like, that's what's going on. But one of the things that it said is that I need, and it's strange because this is something I've been feeling for a while, is that I need structure. I need routine. And coming out of the business and trying to be all things has been extremely difficult for me to establish routine. And Julie can attest that there's times I'm just like, I'm trying desperately to get some kind of routine in my life because then I feel like I'm progressing. And so with that margin of the word that I was looking for, things started kind of coming into alignment with me. And that was a big day as far as Tuesday was concerned, and about me personally. In that afternoon, we had this breakout session with this beautiful lady by the name of Marcia McCartney. And if you saw her, you would just giggle because she had this funny. Do you know Marcia? No. Okay. You had this look on your face like she just had this beautiful presence and giggled at everything. And she had these just really beautiful, funny overalls, which remind me of my Julie. But her whole thing was the breakout session was all about sacred play. Sacred play. We were made to play. We were born to create, and we were born in sacred play. And I'm going to talk more about that in another time. So go to day 4, which is Wednesday, and we kick off the morning with the Charles Fillmore Award. Now, this is a special award that honors a person whose contribution to the unity movement through contributions that exemplify the consciousness of our co-founder, Charles Fillmore. You can imagine that is a big award. And that went to the Pacific Northwest's own Reverend Rachel Simpson. Reverend Rachel, she goes by Reverend Ray, but Rachel Simpson. And I've had the opportunity to spend time with Rachel at the region, and then see her from time to time, and she's on different calls. She's 40-something years old, and what she's accomplished so far in her life is absolutely amazing. She does something, and you'll catch her spirit. If you go to YouTube and look up her videos, she does short little 6 to 10 minute videos on the kind of a backstage look at Unity Village. It's fascinating. She gets access to things that you would not normally see, and her knowledge of history and everything is amazing. But her 2 words that she spoke of, which I thought were very relevant, was pivot, and obstacles equal opportunity. Obstacles equal opportunity. We had a break, we came back, and that was our keynote, which was Reverend Jim Rosemergy, and his talk was Stepping Stones to the Future. He was the one that brought out the 5 minutes of silence. And I didn't realize how long 5 minutes was until you sit there in silence and not say anything. It's a long time. You probably experienced it, right? And his recommendation was if you could spend 5 minutes every day in silence, it will change you. Now that's different than the way we think about meditation, because sometimes we have a meditation where we're talking. Sometimes we have a meditation where we're listening to someone else. We're listening to songs or music or sounds like creaks or things like that. But his thing was like, no, 5 minutes of silence. Now, our silence here is interrupted by the creakings and pops of the building, but there is still intentional all the while. He talked about leadership out of times of crisis, not through times of crisis. A challenge met keeps on giving, that things that needs to happen will happen. He said that when you face challenges, you have come to become someone new, someone you've never been before. A challenge unanswered in a ministry means a part of its divine potential has not yet been realized. That was eye-opening for me. That when we have a challenge that comes, just because nothing comes to fruition doesn't mean that we haven't done something. It means the other part of that challenge hasn't had a chance to develop or become realized. And that's part of that divine timing. And then he said, don't let a single challenge go unanswered. Our job is to lead people through the challenge. And then one of the connections that he made, and I'm telling you that all through this, there were little breadcrumbs for me as to what has been my vision and what I've shared with you at different times. But he said, and John's going to love this, he said the principle is that when 2 or 3 are gathered, when people are gathered, there is conversation. And we've been kind of modeling that with our second and fourth Sunday conversations that we have where we break bread and we talk about things. What is becoming more and more is that more and more need for that. And that, I believe, is what our opportunity is here at Unity Center of North Spokane. I believe our opportunity is to create a place, a healing place of circles. A healing place where people can sit in circle with one another. And whether it's dialogue about relationships, dialogue about grief, dialogue about challenges that you're having with your job or with your family, that we create a space where we can just have dialogue. And then the other thing he said, which I thought was really interesting, he says, what pushes back is where the limits are. So when we feel something that we bump up against, it's our opportunity to push through those limits. One of the things we did as an exercise in that was he threw out at our different tables the challenge of what are the challenges in our movement. And I heard it once. I didn't hear it just once, twice, or 10 times, I heard it all the way through, that unity is a movement, not a church. We are a movement, not a church. And so the challenges in the movement that were raised were raising consciousness, aging population, connecting, engagement, growth, ownership, youth ministries, prosperity, board issues, thank God we don't have them here, volunteerism, attachment, commitment, people conflicts, community visibility, stagnation, minister-centric ministry, who, what, and where are we, seeding creation, and a collective exhaustion. Some of you can relate to that. So we went through that, and then each table would pick one of those things, and then we would talk about what it means to overcome that, right? And again, those goes much deeper. I'm going to save it for another day. On Wednesday afternoon, we did contemplative leadership, finding out where our blind spots are, and then went into another expressions of small groups. There were a lot of different things for me to choose, and I tried to choose the things that I thought were relevant to us here. And so I chose the expressions of unity in small groups because I feel like for us now, we are kind of a small group. We kind of function as a small group. And so we talked about small group gatherings, the dynamic spirit groups, connections. There was all kinds of stuff there. Then I'm going to jump ahead here to day 4, which was Thursday. And that day was a day of the board presentations between Unity World Headquarters and Unity Worldwide Ministries. Now, I did not understand the dynamics of those two and how they play or don't play with one another, but I got a really good idea of that in this. So there's Unity Worldwide Headquarters, which is responsible for supporting the Unity. Headquarters they are responsible for the village. They maintain the physical and spiritual home of the Unity movement and provide resources for spiritual growth. Their key responsibilities are operating Silent Unity, which is a 24/7 prayer ministry, publishing the Daily Word, Unity Magazine, books, and all the digital content. They maintain the village campus, including the education buildings, chapel, rose garden, and archives. They provide retreats, spiritual education classes, and online resources. So Amber, you know how we have this situation where you can take a class with Unity Worldwide Headquarters, but if you decide you want to be a minister, those classes you take, even though they're the same class that you would need in order to become a minister, aren't recognized by Unity Worldwide Ministries. So then you have Unity Worldwide Ministries, which is also headquartered there at Unity Campus. Their primary role is to support Unity ministers, spiritual leaders, and churches. Their key responsibility is licensing and ordaining Unity ministers, providing leadership classes, credentialing, and continuing education. They support Unity ministers and spiritual centers globally. They manage the ethics, bylaws, and governance issues for affiliated ministries, and then they host the annual conventions and leadership retreats. Their main focus, their mission focus, is to equip and empower Unity leaders and ministries to live the truth they know and serve their communities effectively. So there is a movement now going on where these two unities become united into one unity. Interesting concept, right? Imagine that. And there are some things, there's some challenges with making that happen, but one of the things that I learned is that with Unity Worldwide Headquarters, they receive special status from the government as to how they operate there. They actually operate as their own city, their own municipality, and so there's tax advantages there and other advantages that go there that the Worldwide Ministries doesn't have. And so when you merge the two together, now all of a sudden we want to do it in such a way that we don't jeopardize this special treatment that we get with bringing in a 501c3 trust. So that's part of the issue that is going on. So there was a lot of discussion going on there. I did have an opportunity to address the board in the afternoon session because of something that had happened in the early session, which I won't go into dialogue or discussion about. But something happened and there was a little bit of a controversy. So I had the opportunity to address the board because there was concern by some people that when the two come together, what happens to the field? Is everything being pretty much dictated by headquarters, or is the field going to have some say-so in it? And so we actually utilized that very thing that went on that morning as an exercise to understand how things would be taken care of if the two became one. And it was a wonderful time to understand, like, okay, here's a real-world situation that we had. What does that look like in this new organization? Actually, I had a lot of people compliment that we had that opportunity to do that. And we did a straw poll on whether or not this is going to happen, and the voting will actually be done in October, I believe, as to whether the merger happens. And it looks like, for all practical purposes, it looks like it will happen. And that's I think it's from what I can gather of everything, it's a wonderful thing that will happen for unity, brings the two groups together, and we don't lose anything. And the other thing too is that people on both sides in the ministry don't lose their jobs. They all come together into one piece. So one of the last workshops I participated in was a workshop called Beyond the Walls. And that was a workshop on how do we engage with our community. I have a whole list here of ideas that I won't go into detail on, but it was just what I was looking for, is having other centers come together and talk about how do we get out into the community and how do we become relevant in the community. And there was all kinds of neat ideas that came out of that. There was a lot of ideas that were just things that you wouldn't even think about doing, like just showing up at a baseball park. Things that you wouldn't even think about doing, like just show up a tent and just be there to have community with people, right? Things that we wouldn't think of. So that was really really exciting and refreshing. So that is a recap of my time at Unity at the center. I came back, despite kind of the chaos of the dog and all that sort of thing, I came back feeling so refreshed and feeling also in alignment. I don't know how else to describe it, but just being in alignment with some of the things that's been speaking to me about what our opportunities, and these things just keep coming and coming. I want to tell you this, and I want to apologize to you for there's a part of me that has felt that our growth has been stagnant because there's not enough people out here. And I walked away with an understanding that while there isn't necessarily the growth as far as the amount of people, the people that are here and the growth that you're demonstrating is unbelievable. And the analogy that came to me is when you take a plant and you plant it in the garden, that plant doesn't become fruitful overnight. The plant has to sit, it has to start developing roots, it has to be comfortable with its setting, and once it starts becoming comfortable, then the top and then the branches and things starts happening. And that's what I see here. That what is happening with our center is there's people that are coming into this, and I won't call certain people out, but you know who you are.
No, come on.
There she goes, clearing her voice again, clearing her throat. But I have talked to some of you individually about what you mean to this center and what's happening here. And that's part of the big picture. And that's what's exciting me. And what Julie has said is people are being attracted to what we want to create. And so with all that said, we had an opportunity as a community was to celebrate Kirsten's birthday this past Monday with a zip line. And I don't have the pictures. Well, I do have the pictures, but they weren't able to get on the slides. So Amber's going to put them into the newsletter so we have the pictures. But I just want to talk about that time. So there was Kirsten, of course. There was Dana, Nancy. Who am I missing? Nikki, myself, Julie, and Julie's daughter's boyfriend, Niels, on this. And Kirsten, I said Kirsten. Yeah. I could not be more proud of you ladies and what we did. I mean, it's amazing when you think of, like, I mean, when you see the pictures, you'll have an appreciation. Here's Nancy. Okay, Nancy's going off this, and she's like twirling on the zip line. That was number one. And one of the things that I learned on that was there were zip lines where there was 9 stations. The first one was the short one to get acclimated. Then you go to the next one, and then you go to the next one. And so I have rappelled off of mountains. I have rappelled out of a helicopter. I have done a lot of things, like as it relates to being in a harness and being secure. But I also recognize that in my time, I've lost some of that courage. And so when I was strapped into this harness, and I'm the video guy, so I'm videoing everybody taking off, and then I'm the last one, and I'm like, they're all over there waiting for me. I'm like, well, I can't back out of this. I'm in it. And so I tried as bravely and as nonchalantly as I could to step off that platform for the first zip line. And I swear I carried myself the entire way with my arms and my abs. Not that I got, don't let these big abs fool you. But I was holding myself, and it took me 3 zips before I realized to trust the harness, right? And because you think that you can't trust the harness. Now, there's a picture that you have to see of this one, like full out, woohoo, trusting the harness. It was difficult to do. And it was a part where it was a mind over heart. It was a matter of trusting what you know and not allowing the environment or what is going on to get in the way. And there's so many times in our life that we think the path that we're on, we think that we're going to, we can do it, but then we come to those obstacles, and then that moment we bump up against, that moment comes to where we make a decision. Do we go through the obstacle and grow, or do we just move around the obstacle? If we move around the obstacle, we miss the opportunity to learn and grow. And the obstacle will reveal itself on the next turn. And so I just want to sum things up as it relates to everything, is that when we feel ourselves bump into those obstacles, that's our opportunity to make a decision. When I was struggling at the airport with what was going to happen and whether my flights, I had to make a decision. And Julie's encouragement was a big thing. And I mean, there were some other things, but I won't get into. But I want us to recognize that there are going to be obstacles that come into our journey. And those obstacles are obstacles to teach us something. And the opportunity to walk through those and learn is that's our personal opportunity to grow. And if you choose to go around it, it's okay. Just know that that opportunity is going to come again and going to come again. And it's going to be there to teach us. So, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you guys for sending me. It did change me. I learned a lot, but I also learned how much you guys care about me. And that means a lot to me. So with that, I ask you to stay curious and be the blessing.
I'm a member of the human race. Ask me where I'm from, I'll say this human place. Born here with a heart, a soul, a face. I'm a member of the human race. Looking at a forest, all I see are trees, oaks and elms and sycamores, branches and leaves. Everyone is different, yet everyone's the same. Planted in this earth, we give them all a common name. In a universe so vast, we must guarantee humanity will last. I'm a member of a human race. Ask me where I'm from, I'll say this human place. Born here with a heart, a soul, a face. I'm a member of the human race. We have all made wishes on the same bright star. We fight the same enemy in our human hearts. We will come together when we realize that we can see each other with more than just our eyes. Don't think in terms of them and us. The future of our people is in God we trust. I'm a member of the human race. Ask me where I'm from, I'll say this human place. Born here with a heart, a soul, a face. I'm a member of the human race. And as one family we stay, with the fate of our children's children in our hands. Oh, I'm a member of the human race. Ask me where I'm from, I'll say this human place. Born here with a heart, a soul, a face. I'm a member of the human, member of the human, member of the human race.
I'm so glad you got to spend time with the village. I'd love for everyone here to spend time at the village. The first time I went there, it was not for classes or anything. It was just at a convention, and I'm not kidding you. When I left there, my rental car, a bald eagle was hovering over my car all the way to the airport. And this was like 20 years ago, and I'm still getting all teared up about it. I met my grandmother. My grandmother was in her late 80s, and that was the last time that she was able to go and spend time with her family in Missouri. From Missouri, I should say. That's how they pronounce it there, from Missouri. And so I got to go and meet some of my family. And so this same trip, it was 4th of July weekend, and my grandmother's aunt, what does that make her to me? My grandmother's aunt was the chairman of the 4th of July parade, and she was in her 90s. And they had chosen a marshal for the parade, which they do that, you know. And my grandma secretly said to me, "Don't tell anybody he's gay." But this guy that was the marshal of the parade happened to have been a former student of hers. And I mean, if you ever think, I mean, like the coincidences, the synchronicities in the world, this energy is everywhere, and we are in the soup, you know. So anyway, they pull this Grand Marshal up, and they ask him, what do you attribute your success? You know, that's what we ask Grand Marshals. And he said, there was this teacher of mine, and she believed me, and it was my grandma. And she just happened to be there. And like, she stood up and she goes, I'm here. You know, this is what I mean about the people down there. They move their bodies. And this woman was like in her late 80s, and she was just like claiming, you know, herself. It was so beautiful. There was just so many things on that trip that were, I mean, I think what you're feeling right now, it's the same feeling, this wholeness, this welcoming presence, and this the knowledge. So you started out with being present to someone who you don't know, but really it's bringing the presence, right? Bringing the presence to this place where now you're communing with another being, right? And that's really the opportunity in transformation that we all have every day, to just bring the presence. And then to talk about Jim Rosemary, I mean, Jim Rosemary blessed this building when we built it. Jim Rosemary has his creed of the heart right on the outside of the door there, which says, does anybody know it? My God is love, my race is human, and my religion is oneness, the creed of the heart. So he was really Rich's mentor all through. I mean, he was minister here when Rich decided to go back to become a minister. So everything's just coming full circle. I just love it. Thank you so much. All right, so we are going to take our offerings, our gifts for this ministry, and we just know that the abundance is ours. I am feeling this abundance right now just from this presence that we have the ability to bring. So just thank you, God, and thank you for your gifts. So beautiful. That was no small feat, Sandra. Thank you so much for your talents and sharing your talents and the wonderful dynamics that you put into it. There's so much feeling there. I just appreciate you so much. All right, so let's bless these gifts together. Divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So beautiful. Okay, together we will say the unity statement for peace together. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. It is therefore the position of unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever the name for guidance during these challenging times and to pursue peace. For this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. Thank you. Okay, some announcements. I wonder if the beautiful piano player would like to begin the announcements.
Yes, actually, and I forgot my little cards. Just another reminder that we have four shows coming up in 2 locations. For those of you who don't know, we are what are we? I don't know, a cabaret troupe, I guess. We're the Steam Rocket. And we are a collection of professional entertainers, all women, who do country, Broadway, blues, jazz, whatever, in concert, and we give primarily women's perspectives and women's stories. And we are at the Jacqueline Arts and Cultural Center in Post Falls on July 18 and 19. I do have hard copy tickets. Then we are at Hamilton Studio. If you haven't been there, it's a great, great little venue on West Dean Avenue in Spokane. We are there August 8th and 9th. So I have hard copy tickets, or we have QR codes or SimpleTix links and all that good stuff. We have a lot of fun. We have quite a following now, so we do intend to sell out our shows. So come and see me if you want tickets for any of those. And one of our divas is sitting right here. Most of you know her, Robin.
Yes, hey, Robin.
Our country diva, country/blues/ Yeah, it's not just for women. We tell women's perspectives, but we do have a lot of fun. And usually Robin is the one who does the most inappropriate stuff on stage. Yeah, she's got a reputation. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Take advantage of it. It is so much fun. It is really honoring women, but it's also, just funny and joyful. And
this one is, the title of this show is What Women Want. So, hey, if you've been wondering all these years, you should be there.
it could be revealing, is what you're
It could
saying.
be very, very, we hope so.
Maybe in more ways than one. And I notice you have some new divas.
We
You
do.
have some
We
new
have
folks.
2. Claudia Gallagher, who's our new drummer, and she's been drumming for years. She's fabulous and very funny woman. And then we have Kate, who was in our Christmas show last year. Kate Weber, our pop diva and bass player, which is not so easy if you know anything about music. Putting the bass and the vocal together is an interesting challenge. So she's up to it. Smart gal, really sharp. She's in her 20s, and she's got a good career ahead of her. So that's exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah, we are our influence.
It's awesome. All right.
I wanted to pitch Sacred Support Circle. So there's a community of people that are really hurting right now of a recent death in their community. and they have reached out, we've reached out, and what we'll be doing in our next support circle, they'll be involved with us, and this is morphing into, Sacred Support Circle is morphing into something that's even, I think, is going to have a greater impact in our community. And not just this community, Unity community, but also in our broader community. This is going to provide people are hurting, and they're looking for a place, a safe place where they can talk, share, not be judged, not be told how they can fix themselves or whatever, but just have a conversation about what they're going through. And this is what our intent is with the support circle. So we'll be the second, I think it's the 13th of July will be the second Sunday of that month, but our first one in July. And then, I don't know, what else are there on announcements? Because I want to, okay. Weekly meditation this week, is it you? Are you this week?
Yeah, I'll be doing it this week.
Okay. I'll probably be here anyways, but still. I want to talk about this. You probably saw one of these as you walked in the door. This is what we did at Pride. What we try to do when we do the Pride event is we try to do something that's interactive with the community. And so we created 2 of these and asked people to create a ribbon or a string that represents them or how they see Pride. And so we had 2 different creations, this one and the other one out front. So that's what you see is we had some string. Some of them took streamers from our table and created some things. There's like one lady created a flower here. Some very creative ways that people express themselves. And again, this is a way that we connect with the community. We don't judge. It's not for us to judge what's going on in people's life. It's a matter of making connection and helping people to be seen. Okay.
Great. You want to talk about the book?
Yes, so the book study. We are looking at Monday for the homecoming book study. We'll have more details on that. But it's a way for us to discover our inner child. For a lot of us, our inner child got buried because we had to step up into other roles. And my parents divorced when I was young, and I had to step in to be the man of the house. And so a part of my inner child got left behind because of that. And so Homecoming, this book that we're going to be doing, Homecoming is a way for us to help rediscover and reconnect with that inner child. And so myself, Marilyn Kohat, will be co-leading it. And we're really excited about this book because I think it's going to help a lot of us.
Yeah. You don't have a starting day yet.
No, we're looking at a Monday. I've been delinquent on, I want to pick a date when everybody's available, and I've reached out to certain people. Excuse me. I had thought maybe we'd do it on a Sunday, but then some people aren't available on a Sunday. Some people aren't available on a Wednesday. So it looks like Monday is the right day to do this. So we'll pick the day. I'll get a date pegged for this week. We'll have it in the newsletter, have it defined. So.
Super. All right. So let's get in a circle and we'll sing the peace song.
Oh, we have a youth blessing. We have youth out there.
We do.
Yeah, we have like 4 or 5 kids out there.
Awesome. So let's
Yeah, let's bless the kids.
Bless the kids.
They're that way.
yeah. Okay, together. Be the love you are. Sing the song you hear. Share your joy of life with people far and near.
And then
For ourselves, be the love we are. Sing the song we hear. Share our joy of life with people far and near. Yeah, thank you. All right, peace song, get in a circle.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as great
All right, prayer protection. Oh, yeah. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.